Hello, my name is James O'Brien. I'm the Operations Director of iIntro. Here at iIntro, we help recruitment firms transition all or part of their contingent transactional business to a retained consultative model. And if that's something that interests you, then please do listen on. Today I want to talk to you about the importance of hiring accuracy and what happens with your employer organisations if they make an inaccurate hire. Now, how do we measure hiring accuracy? There's a really interesting phrase or a question that you can pose to your clients, and that is, what's my job as a recruiter? Is it purely to provide you with CVs from which you can interview and then hire people? And simplistically, the answer to that question is probably yes. Now, if you think about it for a moment, if you were to ask the client, so if I send some CVs through to you and you interview the candidates and you hire one of the candidates, but that candidate leaves after 3 months, would you be happy or unhappy? And of course, the client should say they'd be unhappy. If that person left after 6 months, happy or unhappy, and so on. So the reality is, it's not the job of a recruiter just to find a CV. The job of a recruiter, and particularly a consultant, is actually to sort of place somebody who stays for the medium to long term. So the client actually gets a return on that investment. So the measure of accuracy is perhaps a measure you could use, guys, would be how long does somebody stay? Now, this is an important feature for us because here at iIntro, we focus on measuring that criteria. And 96% of the people that we place using our methodology and our technology are still in place up to a year later. And 93% are still in the same job 2 years later. Now, that's how we measure accuracy. But how do you measure the client's accuracy or inaccuracy at this moment in time? So here's a simple question that you can ask. And here it is. Of the last 10 people, Mr. or Mrs. Client, that you've hired, how many have reached, or do you expect to reach, their first year anniversary with your company? And just leave that question. Let the client think about it and listen to what they say. Now, in our experience, you're going to get a varied response, but it's going to be around 6, 7 or 8. So they're going to say to you 7 or 8 people out of 10 are still with you 1 year later. And they're going to feel good about that because that is the industry norm. That's the norm that we have in the industry. And people focus, particularly when they're glass half full type of people, they focus on the fact that's a 70 to 80% success rate in hiring. Sounds good. But if you flip that statistic on its head, you can say to the client, does that mean 20 to 30% of the people you're hiring actually leave you within the first year? Does that mean you have a 20 to 30% failure rate in your business? And the client can only say, well, yes, but. And the but will be a defensive mechanism because they'll try and defend their position. We're dealing with people after all. Things happen. People get relocated or whatever they may be. They're going to find a plethora of reasons as to why that's happened. But if you really ask them, think about the 2 to 3 people that left, if we said that number out of 10. Why did they leave? Did they leave because they were a great employee or did you think they were not a great employee? So accuracy becomes really important to an organisation because when they lose 20 to 30% of the people, that has a huge impact on the business. And what's your job to do is highlight to the client that they have a process that has got some room for improvement. And your job is to say, we focus on delivering better results. And that's where your accuracy level of 96%, if you're working with us, for example, here at iIntro, that's where we can demonstrate the value to the client of actually having a more stable and more profitable team in their business. Now, if you want to find out how we deliver that 96% accuracy, please click the link below.